Hello guys, so we're going to be talking about today is graphic design concepts, and we're going to be dealing with a lot of things that have to deal with graphic design. So the first thing we're going to deal with is from ideas to concept. Idea, using things you have discovered or already know well in a new way to solve a problem. All right, these refer to things that you may have seen or know very, very well used in a different way. So, analogy is one thing. We compare two things on which project subject is based, and then change it around. So, like you may have heard of the term comparing apples to oranges. Well, here's this. This is what we're dealing with. In graphic design, the client calls you or hires you to do a project for them. They are already have competitors. They have competitors that are doing very similar things. The idea is, how do you go ahead and make yourself stand out? So here we see the apple is a very, very unique thing and stands out from the rest of the oranges. Okay, we know that there's a bunch of oranges, but the apple is the one thing that draws our eye because it is very unique. It's very different. But yet it is still fruit. It still grows on a tree. There's some common elements, but it's an apple. It's different. So here is an idea for lights. All right, we have the idea of ice cream and knowing that ice cream has a certain shape. And we see here is like you got the cone there, and then you have the ice cream for the bulb. All right, we see the swirl for the ice cream cone, and that gives us a relation to that, a swirl cone in that. But yet it turns it into a light bulb. It is very, very unique and takes a different approach. Ads like these are very interesting because it builds on the urban legend of the owner, the dog is somehow connected to their owner in some way. And here it's very interesting how it's like the owner here kind of like looks like their dog. Okay, there's some characteristics with it that are very, very, that connect them all. All right, the term that we may have found, there's a term in graphic design that we refer to called form follows function. All right, and what that simply turns into is that if you're doing a design, it needs to function first before it can look pretty. All right, so it's the line, color, shape, or manner that a design takes to support and help to communicate an intellectual idea. All right, so we look at these designs here, and you may look at the juicer there. It's very science fiction-like, so a science fiction buff would be all over that. As well as the clippers there, they look very nice. Do they function well? And that's the most important thing. Do they need to function before you can actually make it look pretty? And that's what you need to do. All right, this particular concept revolves around the oven. And this is a very common interactive kind of like training or whatever. So we look at the oven here. It has 4 burners on top. It has the knobs to the bottom left there, or bottom right. And you see that there are icons above the knobs. Now, if you were to take away those icons, would you be able to tell me with 100% surety which knob goes with what burner? More than likely, no. So we look at this diagram, and it's the same thing as what we have in the upper left corner. All right, the upper left corner, again, you have those knobs, but can you tell me which knob goes with which burner? More than likely, no. So you can kind of decipher, well, maybe the 2 left knobs go with the 2 left burners, but which one's on top and which one's on bottom? Now, if you look at the bottom right, you'll notice that the knobs there are in the same orientation as the burners. So you could probably tell me which knob goes with which burner in that sense there. So that's a good interactive design there. So as a designer, what we're doing is we're hired to problem solve and basically refer to or set a certain, solve a problem, I should say, for your client. All right. Problem solving is giving a certain set of parameters you have to come up with a solution that is creative and sends a clear message. All right, we look at this ad here and you see that the babies there are very dirty. All right, the line down at the bottom says, if you don't help feed them, who will? All right, please call Concordia Children's Services. If you look at this ad here, you'll notice that the babies there are very dirty, and there's a problem that's trying to be fixed with it. And you're looking at it and saying, okay, there's a severe problem. It's very dirty. How can I help? All right. Now you look at these series of ads, and there are 3 of them. All right. We get a first impression. When we do an ad and we're looking at it, we always get this first impression of it. It's what draws us in. And then it questions, and then basically leaves a little bit of a mystery to allow us to kind of try and read more into it. So you look at these and you notice that there's an ad that says the girl on the left says dirty, the guy in the middle is prick, and the girl on the right is cheap. You get this immediate first impression as to who they are and what they do. All right, may have intrigued you to kind of read further. So this is what the actual lines of them say. If I want to be out with my friends instead, or I want to be out with my friends instead of changing dirty diapers at home. All it took was one prick to get my girlfriend pregnant. At least that's what her friends say. Or the last one, condoms are cheap. If we'd used one, I wouldn't have to tell my parents I'm pregnant. All right, so it took those lines there and turned it all around. All right, what is dealing with this teenage pregnancy. And here, it basically took that first impression and allowed us to kind of like read in further into it. All right, we're dealing with metaphors, which is a concept used to explain one thing in terms of another seemingly unrelated thing or idea. Okay, so if we look at this particular ad, we look at the pig there. All right, the pig, the piggy bank there, that is basically starving. All right, we know a piggy bank, we put money into it. Okay, and that's what it's dealing here, but it's starving. It doesn't have any money in it. But it's also the white space around it is encircling it or holding onto it. And the eyes of the pig is looking towards the logo. It's a very, very powerful ad because there's not much to it. It's very simple, but it's very, very direct. We're starving. Help us, donate, feed the pig, and help us. Or here, it's like we look at this as like a milk jug, but it's made out to look like an udder. Okay, very, very fun. Or here we look at this guy who has a smile on his face. He's listening to music on his noise canceling headphones while the women next to him are blabbing their mouths off really loud and stuff because that's what they have as far as megaphones in their heads. This ad I don't really care for, but it's going to show you how not to do certain ads. All right, this particular ad is called for Chi Magazine. All right, let us keep dreaming of a better world. Don't know what that means, but here are some options. The advertisement's text, let's keep dreaming of a better world, equates Chi Magazine to a place in which beautiful, promiscuous young women are readily available to any man. Could that be the message here that's being pronounced? Maybe. The female model is shown from behind so that the viewer is encouraged to see her as an object rather than a person. True. Or here, the model approaches a trolley station, which symbolizes a connection that she intends to make with the train that will take her to her destination. I don't understand what really this ad is very unclear as far as what's the message that is being provided. Okay, how does that relate to a men's magazine with a tagline, let's keep dreaming of a better world? You know, they could mean very, very negative in this particular approach. All right, analytic concepts, the concept and how treatments and relationships affect meaning. All right, boring statistics. All right, for designers, we often have to be really creative when it comes to boring information like this to figure out a way of communicating statistics in a fun and interesting manner. So you look at that, it's like ingredients for coffee or agriculture, more agriculture. Metaconcepts is a concept referring to itself or to an audience that works within the genre. All right, metaconcepts also refers to kind of like combining two or more different concepts into one. So we look at this and we see the Scream poster, and you look at Ghostface there. It's like you see Ghostface, and then it's combining into a knife. Two entirely separate concepts combined into one to give that impression. Right, same thing here. We see the guitar, the rocker there with the speaker on its head. Very similar to the women with the megaphone on their head. We're applying conceptual approaches. Overlaying and multiplying concepts brings added richness and depth to posters, packages, book jackets, and logos. Same thing, metaconcepts, basically combining several ideas into one. And we see this happening with Black Swan. The eye and the swans are to develop that particular concept. Or with this one, all right, save water, save life. With the idea of turning a faucet upside down, would you want to turn the water on? The more likely no, because your hand would get wet. So it's basically kind of a symbol to kind of like, if the faucet's turned up, you don't want to turn it on, so no water's flowing. But yet, at the same time here, we're gaining life. So it's like if we're saving water here, we're also saving life in this particular concept. So this is a very interesting ad. It's very simple, and it combines two or more types of concepts. All right, that's it for this particular lecture. So there will be another one shortly. Other than that, have a wonderful day.